Hello students. So now we are going to talk about part 4 of the budget speech. Now in part 4 of the budget speech, we'll see the numbers. So you know that budget has two major components as mentioned in front of you, that is receipts and expenditure. So receipts are further classified into, you can say, revenue receipt and capital receipt. Then your expenditure is further classified into your revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Now moving on, first of all you must know what is the total outlay. Although this year budget is interim budget, but government has given the figures for complete financial year, that is your 1st April 2024 till 31st March 2025. Now if you see the complete outlay, what they said, that the total receipts other than borrowing is around, as the value written in front of you, that is 30 lakh 80,000 crores. So this is the value written in front of you, that is total receipts other than borrowing. So I am talking about, when I am saying other than borrowing, I am talking about revenue receipts, and in capital receipts we talk about only disinvestment and recovery of loans. So we are not taking into borrowings. Now when we talk about total expenditure, so total expenditure is rupees 47 lakh crores. So for the last budget it was around 45 lakh crores. So we can say that total expenditure has increased. Similarly, total receipts other than borrowing has also increased. So if I give you the number of last budget, so in last budget this number was around 27 lakh crores, and this year it is 30 lakh crores. So it means there is an increment in our total receipt. Similarly, total expenditure is also increased. So this is what you have to first remember. So with respect to last budget, it has increased both receipts as well as expenditure. Now you know that whatever we are going to cover in this video with respect to budget, this is very important. Now which sense I am saying important for both prelims and mains. Especially I am talking about prelims. Why? Because in prelims they used to ask you a question that these numbers has increased, decreased, or you can say some orders they used to ask. So this is what I am going to cover in this video. Now if you want this handout also, you will get in the link provided below the video, okay, or you can say on the Telegram channel of the institute, okay, so you can get there itself. Now you can see that our expenditure is more than receipt, so no doubt in saying that, okay, so we can say we have a deficit budget. So how much borrowing we are taking in order to fulfill, you can say, whatever gap is there or deficit. So we are taking a borrowing of, you can say, rupees 16.8 lakh crores. So this is the amount that we are going to take borrowing. So last year our borrowing were around 17.8 lakh. So I am talking about budget estimate of the last year. So actuals still has to come. That will come after 31st March 2024. So this is what you can say, we have decreased our borrowing also. So our borrowing has decreased with respect to last year budget estimates. Okay, so I'm not talking about revised estimate, I am talking about budget estimates. So when we'll have actuals, so you can compare with that also. So we all have to wait for that. So ultimately, again I am telling you that receipts has increased as well as our total expenditure has increased with respect to the last year budget estimates. Now, but our borrowing has decreased. Now, if you see this year borrowing, so it comprises of 28% of total expenditure. So we can say that whatever expenditure we have, so 28% is coming through borrowing only. So we have a total expenditure of 47 lakh crores. Okay, so this 47 lakh crore, you can say for this 47 lakh crore, 28% we are taking as a, you can say, borrowing. Now this part is important, so we'll see one by one. So first we'll see the receipt parts. So if you see arrangement for receipts in descending order, okay. Now if you see revenue receipts are more than capital receipt in our case. So I'm not going in the numbers. So if you want to see the numbers, you can check the Finance Ministry website. So this I have taken, or you can say this I have concluded from those numbers itself. So you can verify there itself also. But if you trust me, you can refer it without wasting your time. Okay, revenue receipts are more than capital receipts. Now if you see in case of revenue receipts, so I am talking about in case of revenue receipts, tax revenue is more than non-tax revenue. So you know taxes, okay, that is direct and indirect taxes. So their collection is more than, you can say, non-tax revenue. So non-tax revenue include your dividends, user pay charges, fees and fines. So these are, you can say, part of non-tax revenue. Now if you see in case of non-debt creating capital receipts, so ultimately you know in capital receipts we have disinvestment, we have recovery of loan plus borrowing also. So whatever borrowing we are taking for this year, that is this also becomes a part of capital receipt. So if I compare, apart from borrowing, whatever two items left, we call them non-debt creating capital receipts. So in that non-debt creating capital receipts, if you see, disinvestment has more, you can say, is greater component than recovery of loan, or you can say our collection from disinvestment is more than recovery of loan. Now if you see in case of capital receipts, if I see all the three items together, borrowing, that is around 16 lakh crores, disinvestment around 60 lakh crores, disinvestment is around 50,000 crores. So again I am saying borrowing is around 16 lakh crores. So already we have seen this number. See, no need to remember these numbers. This is only for your reference I have written. Okay, so borrowings, you can say around 16 lakh crore, disinvestment around 50,000 crore, and then comes recovery of loan. Now if you see in case of all the receipts, so if I see revenue and capital receipts together, so if you see that tax revenue collection means government collect more amount from the taxes. So if you see that whatever we are collecting around 30 lakh crores, around 30 lakh crores other than borrowing that we are collecting. So if you see that share of taxes are around 27 lakh crores, that is tax revenue. That is why I have mentioned here that if you see all the receipts, tax revenue collection is more, then it comes borrowing. So you can say 26 to 27 lakh crore is our tax revenue collection, then borrowing 16 lakh crore, I already told you. Then is, you can say, the maximum component is of non-tax revenue, then disinvestment, then recovery of loan. So this is what you have to understand. Now if I talk about taxes component, so within the tax also the major collection is of income tax. This is what you have to remember. So earlier it used to be corporate tax, but now the place has been replaced by income tax. Then is GST and other taxes. So basically indirect tax we are talking about. Then corporate tax, then union excise duty, and then customs. So this is what you order you have to remember, because sometimes they ask you to arrange these things in ascending and descending order with respect to this financial year. Now again if you see that direct tax collection is more than indirect tax collection. So this is again you have to remember for your exam. Now if I talk about the arrangement of non-tax revenue receipts in descending order, so you will see that we have, in case of only non-tax revenue receipts, so I am just talking about non-tax revenue receipt. So we have more collection from fees, fines and user pay charges, then dividends and profits, then interest received by the government, and finally grants received by the government. Now if we see with respect to expenditure part, so in case of expenditure part, revenue expenditure is more than capital expenditure. Okay, so this is what you have to first remember, revenue expenditure is more than capital expenditure. So again I am saying that these numbers are important, matlab these facts are important for you, because UPSC can frame one prelims question on this. So if you can say remember these things, so I can be, or you can say I can help you in securing 2 marks. In revenue expenditure, interest payment is more than defense, then you will see subsidies, and finally pension. So ultimately interest payment, so we are paying interest payment around 11 lakh crores. Okay, so this is, you can say, the highest component in revenue expenditure. Then is defense, okay, then subsidies, then your pension. So somewhere around 4 lakh crores, okay, is your defense, then around 3 lakh crore is your subsidies, and later on around 2.6 lakh crore is your pensions. Okay, so this order again you have to remember. Now within the subsidies also, government is paying more for food subsidies, then fertilizers, and then petroleum. So again this order you have to remember. So again I am telling you that if you need this PDF, you can get below the link, okay, or below this video description, whatever is available, or you can get on the, you can say, Telegram channel of the institute. Now, if we see the deficit part also, like for this year, our fiscal deficit is around 16 lakh crores, okay, which comes out to be around 5.1% of GDP. Whereas last year, our fiscal deficit, that is budget estimate, so I have mentioned here also, that is for last budget, it was 17.8 lakh crores. So you can say around 5.9%. So you can see that it has reduced both in absolute number as well as in percentage. Clear? Now, if you see revenue deficit has also decreased. Okay, so you can say out of the total borrowing that we are taking, that government is taking for this year, around 6,53,000 will be given for revenue expenditure. Clear? Now, no doubt whatever borrowing that government is taking this year, long-term borrowing is more than short-term borrowings. So if you see their order also, we are taking our majority borrowings from government securities. Then we are taking from securities against small savings. Then short-term borrowings. Then external debt, and then state provident funds. So this is, you can say, I have arranged in decreasing order. So majority we are taking from by issuing government securities. Then from securities against small savings. So government runs so many small saving schemes. So from there also we are raising the borrowings. Then short-term borrowings, that is your T-bills, treasury bills. So you know that treasury bills are issued by the government for short-term borrowings. So there are three types of treasury bill: 91 days, 182 days treasury bill, and 364 days T-bills. External debt means taking from outside the country also. And in last it comes state provident funds. So ultimately from state provident fund also government is channelizing the borrowings for themselves. Now if you see with respect to primary deficit, or you can say comparison, so you can say our fiscal deficit already we have talked about, but if you see primary deficit, last year primary deficit was around this thing, that is 7 lakh crore. This year it is 4 lakh 95. So you have to tell me in comment section which one is good, this primary deficit or this primary deficit. So I'll wait for your answer and I'll tell you in next video. So I'll definitely come with one more video where I'll talk about which schemes you have to refer for your prelims exam, so that you can refer from any source. So what are the important schemes, what are the important terms that you can use in exam? So we'll talk about that in our next video, which will be released soon, or you can say likely to be in next 4-5 days. So stay tuned to this video, and we'll meet soon. Till then, Jai Hind and have a nice day.